Good evening, everybody.
Hello, everyone.
Thankfully, tonight I've got power, unlike last night when it was out until 4 in the morning.
Well, how did you know? You were sleeping at that time.
Well, I made the mistake of going on the electric company website and I put in my number to notify me. So at 4:30 in the morning, my phone started ringing and I answered, and we're calling to let you know your power's back on. And I'm thinking, that's great. I'm glad I did that.
We haven't lost power here yet, thank God.
Let's see.
Knock on wood.
Here. So we have a pretty good show lined up tonight. We're going to have Nico ride a unicycle and juggle dash nines, I think, or something, right?
That's right. I have three now, so.
Three?
Yes.
And you're giving one away to Joseph Lipinski, right?
Of course.
Thought I saw it.
Yes. I was going to get one for everyone, but Bachmann sold out, unfortunately. So
it seems to be a hot item.
Yes.
So let's see here.
So do we want to start with our shows coming up?
Yeah, let's go over our events that are coming up here. Let me share that screen. Let's see here. Tab. All right. So, as usual, if you go to our website, largescaletrains.com, obviously, if you click into each one of these, I've got more info and links that'll take you to the official sites for them. But this next weekend coming up is going to be the G-Scale swap meet at the Entertainment Junction for the Greater Cincinnati Garden Railway Society.
I want to get to that one. That's going to be on my bucket list next.
I'm planning, as of the moment, I'm planning on going. You know how unforeseen things happen, but I'm planning on going. And the nice thing there, of course, is if you've never been to Entertainment Junction, you got to go at least once or 20 times because it's I think probably the largest indoor G-scale display in at least the U.S. I think.
I don't know. I've never seen it, so you tell me.
You got to get there.
I do have to get there.
And then, of course, April 14th and 15th is the East Coast Large Scale Train Show.
I'll be there.
And you're going to be there. I won't be, unfortunately. I'm going to be away for my anniversary with the wife.
You got to set your priorities.
Yeah, I couldn't sell her on a romantic East Coast weekend, so
You're not selling it right.
I guess. Then, of course, on April 28th and 29th, one of the topics of our show tonight is the Northeast Large Scale Train Show. It's going to be up in Massachusetts.
Same place as the Big E?
Yep, same place as the Big E. And then, of course, the Marshall Steam Museum, May 7th, is going to have their train day. I believe they have a live steam G-scale layout, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think they have ride-on and G-scale.
Ooh, ride-on, even better.
Yeah.
Then we have May 19th and 20th is RLD Hobbies Spring Open House. That's always fun. If you go when Nico's there, make sure you guard the rear of your train.
No comment.
And if I'm there, make sure the track's clear before you go flying around it or you'll plow through my train parked on the main. We'll try not to do that again.
I'll be going in the spring again. I mean, not spring, the fall.
Yeah.
This is the spring.
That's when I'm trying to plan to go again, is the fall.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Then we have June 3rd is going to be the Northeast Ohio Large Scale Train Show in Warren, Ohio. That's the Riverside Club. And if I remember correctly, the other day talking to them, it sounds like they've sold just about all their tables for their show.
Good.
I think it's like 40, 50 tables they have, but it's all G-scale.
It was a good show. I mean, we had a good time coming out there.
And, of course, they also have their indoor G-scale layout up and running during the show as well, that you can take a look at that.
We didn't have a good time coming home, but we had a good time going out there.
Yeah, something with you and collisions.
Yeah.
I'm just glad everybody was okay.
Not going to say it. Not going to say it.
Then, of course, June 18th to the 24th in Birmingham, PA, is the Big Train Operator Club convention. And as I mentioned every time, because I don't want people to just show up and not know, you do have to be a member of the Big Train Operators Club to attend. However, their yearly dues are very reasonable. They send you a nice quarterly magazine and a few other things. I always encourage you to check out their club. It's a wonderful organization. Then June 22nd to the 25th is the Midwest Garden Railroad Gathering. It looks like they're going to have almost kind of like a convention type thing. Oh, okay. I see. Grab the comment there.
Yeah, it was. I thought you were already going to go to the next one. Sorry.
No, that's fine. That's fine. But the Midwest Garden Railroad Gathering, I guess they go to our site and check it out, but it looks like they got quite a few different things going on for that. And then, of course, July 1st to the 8th is the 38th National Garden Railway Convention. That is, I got to look closer.
That's the one that the thing is for there.
Ah, yeah. That's what you got up there.
Yep. Oh, there's another one. Registration goes up, $25 April 1st.
Ooh. And then I've got another one that got sent to me here. Now, I don't know how many of the viewers will attend it. It's the first East Midlands large-scale model railway show.
Where's that?
That is...
I don't see any...
Yeah, let me see here. Didn't show it on there. That is in Wirksworth. Yeah. I believe it's the UK.
I was going to say, is that over the pond?
Yeah. Yeah. I apologize. I don't. Wirksworth, Derbyshire is what it's saying. So if you live over that way, it seems that there's a large scale show for you there as well.
I didn't know our audience spread that far.
There's actually a few people that do watch from over the pond, so to speak. So, trying to think. We got anything else newsworthy we got to mention?
I don't believe so. I mean, the news we have is going to involve the guests. So I don't know if you want to do our sponsors plug first, and then we'll get on to that. Let's
play our plug for our wonderful sponsor, Splitjaw, and then we'll be right back.
The following episode of Large Scale Live is brought to you by Splitjaw, makers of quality metal products for the G-scale modeling world. For rail clamps, expansion joints, bridges, and more, Splitjaw Products has you covered. For more information, visit their website at www.railclamp.com.
All right, and we are back. So,
hello. So we're going to start bringing in our guests here.
Yeah, and our first guest is John. And John, many times have I practiced saying your last name. I'm going to get it wrong. Is it Sacerdote?
That's perfect. You actually said it just right.
Wonderful. I'm glad I practiced that.
I was on the air for the show a while ago, and you know, they were counting down. I was at a local television station that covers most of Connecticut, and the woman that was interviewing me, of the two that were interviewing me, she leans over when they're on like 5, 4, and she goes, "It's Sacerdote, right?" Perfect. So you were just as perfect. So nicely done.
Wonderful. And our other guest is, and I'm going to get Ray's last name wrong, so I'm going to let Nico say it.
Ray Buteux.
Buteux.
Also perfect.
There we go. And I guess some info from who they are. John, you are the president of the Amherst Railway Society, correct?
That is correct. And the show director for the Northeast Large Scale Train Show, as well as the Railroad Hobby Show that we just had in January.
You wear a lot of hats, don't you?
too many. You ever see that commercial with all the hats that go up about 5 feet? That made me. Yeah.
And of course, Ray, if Nico would like to introduce what Ray does for people that don't know.
We're not exactly sure what Ray does, actually.
That's not nice.
Nobody is.
So you are the sales manager, Northeast sales manager, right?
Correct.
At Bachmann, USA.
That's right.
And I've been friends with Ray for quite some time now.
Back since he had hair.
Yes, I had hair at one time.
Wow. That definitely had to be a while ago, didn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, look at this. It's the league
Yeah,
of balls
didn't we
on the
all?
field.
So I guess let's start off with you, John. What can you tell us about your event that's coming up?
Well, on April 28th and 29th, Friday, Saturday, a 2-day show starting at 9 in the morning and 5 at night, both days. We're trying our first ever large scale railroad hobby show. And we just, the bug was put in my ear by our other guest. Ray said, you got to do something in the Northeast. There's nothing way up in the Northeast that really will start to regenerate, attract, just get more information out about large scale. And I said, let's do a large scale. And so we've got the Young building at the Better Living Center complex. So it's the building right across the way. It's 55,000 square feet. And it is just about full. So we're excited. Typical admission price, just $10, but we're sticking with the theme that we want children to get interested in this hobby. So if you're 15 and under, it's free.
Huh,
Wow.
I'm under 15.
There you go.
No, not IQ.
And we've got, I'll tell
Wow.
you, for our first show, we've got a heck of a lot of great people coming. There's 7 layouts, and we could talk more about the detail as we go here. But a couple of the big layouts are the New Hampshire large scale folks, the Central Connecticut G scale folks, and one of my favorites is the Chester and Beckett. It's actually they're billing it as an F scale, but it's actually G and G narrow gauge. And it is a gorgeous layout if you guys have ever seen it.
That one's like a really highly detailed logging layout, right?
That's the one by Steve Morrell and Mike Tylick, Nico. And I'll brag for just a second. I actually did all the hand laid track on it. I'm the hand laid track guy when it comes to anything special. So there's dual gauge, there's crossings, there's switches, etc. And it is, when I received it, when it was just bare bones to put track on it, and then when I saw it finished, I said, are these the things I did? Because they did such a great job with the scenery. I just couldn't believe it. So that'll be there, and it's 6 different modules. They're about 2 by 8 feet long. And they just added a beautiful backdrop to it. So that'll be there, and so many more. There's going to be from New Hampshire, their switching layout. I guess it's about 2 or so by 12. There's a switching layout that people could practice and make some moves on and stuff. And we just got great information from the fire marshal in West Springfield that they have approved the indoor evergreen layout for live steam. So we are inviting everybody and anybody that wants to run live steam. You'll be able to indoors. We've got some tables to set up stuff on next to it, and it should be fun. And it's approximately, I think it's a little bit bigger, but I'll say 20 by 40. I'm pretty sure it's a little bit bigger than that. So dual track, and you'll be able to have a lot of fun running a live steam indoors.
When you say it's $10, is that $10 for both days or $10 for one day?
$10 for one day, Nico. And, don't forget we are a nonprofit, and anything we make that's above and beyond the expense of the show, we will give away. And just this year, because of the large show, we did well at the large show. It feels like pre-COVID. So our grant program has just been launched. It's on our website, amherstrail.org. So any other nonprofit in the country, actually in the world for that matter, can apply for a grant, and we'll give grants away to historical societies, clubs that are nonprofit, etc. So all we do is exist to help.
Wonderful.
That is awesome. I didn't realize you guys were a nonprofit.
Yeah, since 1991, we've given away over $850,000, and I hope I'm alive to hit the $1 million mark. But that will happen.
Wow.
Maybe adding this new show will help.
Yeah.
I hope so. All I care about is that it does help promote and get bigger interest, better interest in large scale. And we'll see what happens. So, and this is our first year, so we're really open for a lot of support from folks. But we've got some great people coming. We've got, that live stream. We even have a white elephant table. It's all going to be run by the New Hampshire guys and with a little bit of help with the big train operators. And we've even got people from the 38th National Guard and Railway Convention coming to help promote that.
Wow.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, there's all kinds of people going to be there. And we've got a drag and brag area. And we've got several layouts open on Sunday for the trip back, including an op session at Stan Ames' huge outdoor G-scale layout. And clinics both days, all day long. Nancy Norris, Don Sweet, Stan Ames. And the fun part of it is very serendipitous. This guy calls me, he's cleaning out a house, and he says, John, I don't know what to do with all this stuff in the house, in the basement. I don't know what to do with it. I said, send me pictures. It's over 500 pieces of LGB equipment, never used, still in boxes. So that will be at the show to liquidate that collection. And that stuff is priced to move. But it's some of the stuff I've never seen before. And some yellow box stuff, some red box stuff, of course. But there's so much of it. It's at our headquarters right now. We're trying to inventory the whole thing. And we have actually Dennis Gamelli helping us, who used to run Pioneer Valley Hobbies. He was a authorized LGB dealer. He's helping us with the pricing and how much it goes for now. So I said, well, let's make it so it's worthy of people coming and picking up some really cool stuff that they haven't seen in years.
Somebody's asking, is it I guess Andrew and I are both clicking.
Oh, you go right ahead there.
Oh, go ahead. You got yours up there.
I think you were
100 locomotives. There's probably 400 cars. It's in a ton of track. It's like I inventoried about 15 electric switch track, all LGB track, brass. But the stuff, if you look at the sliders on the back of these locomotives, there's no scratches on them, none.
Somebody was asking if there's any REA in there.
There is. Yeah, there is.
Okay.
There's some stuff. So you just got to look through it. We have a very small surplus sale coming up this coming weekend, and we're only going to have a select few pieces there because most of our club members are all smaller scale, but we're going to have a couple of the large scale from that collection out just to see how interesting it is. But I talked to the folks at Only Trains, and they are very seriously thinking of coming out just to look at this collection. I mean, it is a huge collection, so it'll be fun. So, and God, the timing couldn't have been better. The guy said, I don't know what to do with this stuff. I said, bring it to this show. People will love the
picture.
So there's a question. Any LGB Amtrak stuff?
I don't remember seeing any Amtrak stuff there. It's honestly, so we're fair about it. It looks to me to be original Germany stuff shipped from Germany. I've got a couple of pieces that have been autographed by a couple of the brothers originally, but it looks mostly European to me.
Okay. So when you say large scale show, previously large scale shows were usually G scale. Your show is going to encompass other scales, correct?
Yeah. It looks like we've got a few O scale people coming as well. And I honestly was hedging my bets for the first year, to be frank with you guys. This needs to be a successful show. So I wanted to open it up to S and O and larger. anything larger than that. And for the first year, and if it really kicks in, I would love to make it G scale only. I think there's a bunch of I went down to Dan Vega's East Coast show last year and met a lot of really nice people. So I've been trying to cross advertise Dan's show, and Star Hobbies is going to be up with us. So he's got tables.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, so it's great. So, again, it's not a competition. It's about promoting this hobby, especially the large scale.
Absolutely. And I'm trying to remember, maybe you mentioned it already, but you're going to have quite a few club layouts set up, right?
Yes. Yeah. The Central Connecticut G-Scalers will be there. The New Hampshire guys will be there. And there's a few others, the Evergreen Live Steam, a modular layout group will be there. So there's, I was actually looking through the list, and right now there's 7 layouts counting the Live Steam. There'll be a switching layout. Yeah. So it's going to be, it's taking up a lot of, probably 50% of the territory in the Young building, especially the New Hampshire guys. But that is such a cool layout. It's huge. I love it.
Yeah. That was always down at York also.
Yeah.
Or York and, East Coast show.
Right.
And we should probably mention people that I got a link in the description of the video, but people that want to go to the website and check it all out themselves, it's nelsts.org, right?
That is correct. Yeah. And it's live. People have been pre-purchasing tickets. All that does is keep you from going through the lines. But you can pre-purchase tickets, and I think there's a 2-day ticket, which will save you a few bucks too if you're going to go both days. Vinny
and I will be there as 4-track, and Andrew and I will be there as Large Scale Live also.
Yeah, I was going to say there's a couple of guys that are taking a couple of tables, and we're not sure about them, but yeah, no, seriously, we're glad to have you guys, and I look forward to seeing you there.
I was going to say
into this show.
Our tables are by the bathrooms, right?
Wherever you want them to be.
They're in the bathrooms.
They're in the bathrooms.
I want our tables by
the
Dunkin'
Donuts stand. And by the way, there's going to actually be a banquet. So I was talking with Don Sweet and Ray, and they said, well, we've got like 40 people already coming to the banquet. I said, what banquet? You're going to have a banquet, aren't you? So I had to hustle to call the folks that put on a regular banquet for the big show. And they said, oh yeah, we could accommodate you. So there is a banquet, and then food from these guys that are on campus there is just tremendous. So there's a banquet for Friday night.
Do we need to sign up for the banquet, or is it just?
Yeah. And you could sign up right until, I've already got a big list, but you could sign up right until that first day of the show on Friday if you want.
How do we sign up for the banquet?
Just email me and I'll take care of it. So if you email showdirector@amherstrail.org, you're all set. Why, you going to go, Nico?
Of course I'm going to go.
Well, and Andrew, you going to go? You don't even have to email me. You're in. I got it.
I have my son too.
It's only $1,800 a ticket. Is that all right?
Well, I need to.
Right. Well,
we got to make this first show successful.
Yeah, put me down for 2 as well, because I want to go as well, not just my wife.
Seriously, you guys each need so total 4 tickets?
Yeah.
Yes.
Done deal. Thanks, guys.
I'll have my son in tow.
Well, and I'm not sure, Andrew, if I should notice or mention this first, or you should, but you guys are going to give away some tickets to this show, yeah?
Well, yeah, we're going to give away some tickets that you're providing to us. Yes.
Okay. Well, you know what? I was just thinking, if you guys are doing all of this, I got to up the ante here. So I think we're going to give away two packs. How's that for a total of 4 tickets?
Okay. So two giveaways, each of 2 tickets.
There you go.
Okay.
So we have an open bar at the banquet.
What's that, Nico?
Is there an open bar at the banquet?
Believe it or not, there is an open bar. No, it's a cash bar, but there is a bar.
And then Larry Otis said, "What banquet?"
We haven't publicized it that much, only because Don Sweet from RCS New England, right? He says, John, I got 40 people coming to the banquet. I honestly said, what banquet? And he says, well, they always have banquets. So we made the call. We will publicize that in the next couple of days. But in the meantime, just email me if you want to take it to the banquet.
Okay.
Maybe Larry wasn't supposed to know about the banquet. Maybe that was the problem.
Oh, maybe.
Oops.
No, that's not true.
And of course, John, you know Heath from Humanity Junction. You've been on his show before. He popped into the chat.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I see that. Cool.
He said hello, and he says, John, you did not have enough to do with Amherst, so you're doing a second show.
Yeah, right. I wasn't busy enough. I was getting bored.
And of course, Ray, you met Heath briefly at the last show up there. He was the one that was saying hi to you for me, and we used some of his video.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you're going, who are you talking about?
Can you repeat the email address for the register for the banquet?
Oh, yeah. Just send information to me, guys. So it's show director, all one word, at amherstrail.org. So it's my regular email address, but just put in the subject line banquet, and I'll know what we're doing.
Are you typing that in there?
Yeah. Is that right? Show director at amherstrail.org.
Yeah. It actually looks like Amherst Trail. So, but
that's why I was looking like, do I have that right?
Yeah. It's perfectly, it's perfect. You got it just right.
There's another question here. John is using the show to help his club build a G-scale layout at their clubhouse.
Actually,
what's wrong with that?
Yeah, we're gonna write it. We're gonna write ourselves a grant. No, not so. But yes, we are in the process of, and I've got plans and drawings right back here for our G-scale. So we are building. We've got an acre of property, guys. And
wow.
We're built, and we just are making arrangements to get an outdoor shed, much like Ray's, to store some stuff. I've been to Ray's house, and he's got a wonderful G-scale layout as well. Yeah, it's in the works, and we are building a wonderful G-scale layout in our backyard, and we intend to keep it open, for events, Christmas time, and all that kind of stuff, and frankly, use that to help us make some money to support our grant program.
Wow. You guys have a lot going on, don't you?
We do. And we're also building a HO scale, probably not to be mentioned on this show tonight, but an HO scale club size layout.
We won't persecute you, John. It's okay.
Yeah, really. So that's being built simultaneously along with the G scale. But that one's in our basement of the headquarters.
So you have what scales do you have at your club right now?
We have HO, we have an N, and we have the beginnings of the G scale. That's it so far. We really want to have something for everyone. You can't see it, but right in the back of my head on this side, I've got a bunch of cars, all state of Maine cars that are all different scales. I loaned out my G and O to a museum because they want to have a display running in a cabinet underneath their tabletop where the kids can play with the brioche type wood trains, that you can push around and stuff. So they weren't sure of the scale, and I went up there to give them an idea and help. We've got so many projects going on simultaneously that it's hard to keep track of, frankly. But so two of my cars are missing, but I've got state of Maine red, white, and blue cars from all the way from Z scale all the way up to G scale, and it's kind of fun.
Wow. So I guess since we're moving along here, maybe we should do one of the giveaways for the first set of tickets you're going to do, John.
Sure, that'd be great. So
let's see here. I already have this all queued up even. I was ahead of the game.
Wow.
Yeah, Shaz Nico, that's really impressive. So what we're going to do to enter the giveaway is in the live chat, whether you're on Facebook or YouTube, enter in hashtag NELSTS, which is Northeast Large Scale Train Show, into the live chat, and that'll automatically enter you into the drawing. and we will let that go for 5-10 minutes, however long we need here, so people can get their entries in.
Again, that's for free tickets to the show.
Yes.
Northeast Large Scale Train Show.
Yeah. So that's a ticket for you and a ticket for your buddy to go with you, or your wife or girlfriend.
Or both.
Or both, yeah. No, that causes problems. we don't want to encourage that.
Hey, these days you can't judge.
This is true.
There was a famous toast in the British Navy. They drink to the king's health, and then they'd say, "To wives and sweethearts, may they never meet."
Yeah, that I could see that being a thing.
Does it include Amtrak train tickets to get to the show as well?
Amtrak tickets as well.
It does not, but I can understand where that came from, because we just had a raffle for the Railroad Hobby Show that included transportation anywhere in continental U.S., which you could swap if you were within, if you're close enough that you're going to drive anyway for $500. And some guy did win that. But no, it does not. It's just admission to the show. This first year. Next year, who knows? Because we'll, as we grow with our hotels, we'll get more and more comp rooms. We could even comp you a hotel room. That'd be kind of fun.
I think Larry's confused. He put at hashtag any LSTS. There you go, Larry. You got it.
And that was right, wasn't it? Northeast.
I'm actually taking Amtrak up, and surprisingly, it was only $81 round trip from Newport News, Virginia to Amherst, to Springfield.
I looked to take Amtrak from Ohio, and it looked like it was going to take a day and a half and have 3 transfers. So I said, I'll just drive.
Yeah.
It seems like
I used to live in Dayton, and it was an easy drive, 9 hours and you're there.
Yeah, it's not bad. But it definitely shows that if you live along the East Coast, you have a lot more access to, rail travel. You start getting away from there. I mean, what I have that comes through here is the Capital Limited. And I think that's like at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning it stops.
We've got CT Rail here now, and they do 7 trains a day in both directions from Springfield to New Haven. In New Haven and Metro North, they go crazy all day long. When I used to travel into New York to visit clients, I just head down to New Haven, park my car. There's a train leaving every 20 minutes in the morning.
Oh, wow.
Not too much in the middle of the day, but and the same thing in reverse out of New York City, right out of Grand Central, right to New Haven.
Looks like you got an offer for a ride up there, Nico. From
Taya. I already bought my tickets though.
See how you are.
Hey, you can haul my my purchases back.
Hey, there you go. It's funny you mentioned that, because I remember the last show I was at, we were loading up her truck, but it wasn't your purchases. I think it was your friend Mike.
Yep.
All right, let's see here. It looks like I'm not seeing any more entries come in for the tickets at the second. So let's see. I'll give it another moment here before I stop, because I know we got a few second time delay there.
I'm actually excited about taking the train up. Just taking a train trip that long. I've never been on a train that long.
Yeah, I would like to do it as well, but every time I check on pricing or how long it's going to take, because of where I live at, it's not advantageous. All right, so let's see.
Well, originally I was going to drive, but then I saw the tickets for $80. I was like, can't beat that.
Well, that's all it was $80, huh?
Double that in gas, Nico. So it's a smart move.
Yeah.
Yeah, I made a smart move too. I replaced the bald tire on the front of my vehicle and got it aligned before I drive 8.5 hours.
There you go.
I think they said I had like a 30-second of tread depth left on it. I said I should probably get that fixed.
You don't have to worry till the belts start coming out.
All right, so let's do the drawing here and see who's going to win 2 tickets to go to the Northeast Large Scale Train Show. And Nico's going to buy him dinner, right? No?
Why am I always buying people? Why am I always buying people?
Well, why would I do it? I want to spend your money.
You're
All right.
You're the
So
one
no dinner with Nico. All right, let's see who wins 2 tickets to go up to the Northeast Large Scale Train Show. Who is it gonna be? Brian. How do you say? I'm guessing that's the last name. Brian Taint. I'm not even gonna say it.
Teams, T1s.
So, unless you want people emailing you, John, I can just have them email me with their info and pass it on however you'd like me to do it.
Yeah, that works for me.
Okay. And I'm assuming there's not anything that we really need to send them. Is it going to be they show up at the show and show their ID kind of thing?
Yeah. That's all they have to do. We'll have tickets waiting at will call.
Okay. Well, Brian, just send an email to, where is it at? Send it to our info@largescaletrains.com. And if you could, provide me your first, last name, your mailing address, just so that they have something to match up with your ID when you go to the show. And I'll get that over to John so they know to let you and another person in for free to have a good time.
That sounds like a plan. I'm looking forward to this. I really am.
Congrats, Brian.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it as well. I was very excited when I heard that you guys were doing a show up there, John.
Thanks.
So now we need somebody to do a show a little further south.
Yeah.
Well, there's actually, I'm kind of surprised that there's a handful of large scale shows now they're going on. There's the one the club by me started here, of course, John's. You got East Coast. Yeah. And there's a couple, out west, it looks like, that I had listed in my stuff. I hear a lot of people say that they think that the large scale hobby's dying, but I really don't see it. I see more and more younger and newer faces all the time across the various groups I'm in on Facebook and that for G Scale. I'm seeing more and more people get into it. And I think it's great. I really do.
I enjoy
it. And of course, John, there's our friend Heath from Humanity Junction saying large scale, anything bigger than Z scale.
I guess you could say that. But and then isn't there even a smaller scale than Z now called T or something like that?
Yes.
Which is like half the size of Z. I mean, I don't understand that, but whatever. But no, our show is S and larger for this first year. So SOG and 7 1/4, 7.5.
Do you have any clubs coming out there with 7 1/4, 7 1/2, or?
Not yet, Nico. But I'm working with Pioneer Valley live steamers to have an open house on that Sunday, and a couple of private guys that have huge outdoor 7 1/4 layouts to have. I just haven't heard back from them yet to have open houses there. So we'll see what happens. Yeah, and if they are, they'll be posted at the show because we don't want everybody and their uncles to show up at these people's houses. So if you're at the show, you'll be given directions on how to get to all these places. And all that. I know, like for example, Stan Ames, it's an opt session, so you may have to sign up if you want to opt, but of course it'll be open if you want to just observe. Stan is so good about all of that.
I got to get back to Stan. I was talking to him about something else, and I haven't had a chance to call him back.
You and me both. I was talking to him the other week. He's a really nice guy.
Yes.
I'm actually looking forward to meeting him when I go up to the show.
Oh gosh, yeah, he was instrumental in explaining everything to the fire marshal. Well, explaining to me, and then I relayed it to the fire marshal, and he said, "Oh God, yeah, that sounds pretty straightforward." So I approve it. So it was good. But a big thanks go out to Stan for helping me with that.
Yeah, and I have to say that you guys have all the documentation out there. You know, when I got my papers from you and I went to the site, like you have the stuff on the fire marshal stuff and I mean, you got it all laid out. Like,
Oh yeah.
you know, I don't know how anybody can have any questions. Well, unless maybe questions about the info, but I mean, you got all the info out there.
Well, thanks, Andrew. I appreciate that. But honestly, I basically am in my office, which is part of the house, most of the day. So if people have questions, they are absolutely welcome to call. My contact information is on the website, including my direct dial number. So I welcome a call from anybody anytime. If I'm not here, leave a message. I'll get back.
So are you guys, I mean, switching gears, just asking another question. At East Coast show, they usually did a show car and a shirt. Are you guys going to do anything like that for this first show?
Not Nico, not this first year.
Okay.
You know, we want to make sure this is successful, but we've already been talking to some people about the following year. So yeah, but nothing this first year, just to make sure we can have a second year, frankly.
Makes sense. Good. Anything else you want to add about the show, or should we?
We actually need your support. So I'm putting it out there to come and visit this show. It's gonna be great. We've got repair people there. We've got tool people coming, and there's quite a few people gonna be there. A lot of them come to our the big show, but it's limited now to the scale that we talked about. So it's really going to be very interesting. So I just want as many people there as we possibly can to keep this going year after year. I want to turn this into something big.
Oh yeah. I mean, we all look forward to it. I mean, I always looked forward to the East Coast show, just seeing friends I see once a year. I mean, it wasn't about going and buying stuff. It was about, the camaraderie and seeing everybody. And
that's such a big part of it, Nico. You're right. It becomes a very traditional type of thing, if only to see friends. So it's great.
So I got a question here. It says, just curious, what would be considered successful for the show? Like their head count determined that it happens again in the future?
That would be nice. But honestly, from a business standpoint, we're in the black. I don't want to lose any money. Yeah. So honestly, if we could get 1,500 to 2,000 people at this show, we'll be doing great.
Wow.
So yeah, I'd love to see that many. That's a big ask, but I'd love to see it.
So is this for Nancy Norris will be there doing clinics on plants? Is that for your show?
Yeah.
Okay.
If you go to the website and then click on clinics, it'll take you to the schedule. So Nancy came to help us with our outdoor G scale. But she said, John, I want to show people how to prune dwarf trees for your garden railroad, but it's got to be at the end of each day because I really make a big mess. So it was pretty funny. But she also, on the second day, is going to do on Saturday at 1:00, right before her pruning practices. She's going to do one on access your garden railroad, how to better reach your trains using hardscape land, retaining walls, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah. And that reminds me, we've actually got the Pioneer Valley Koi and Pond Club setting up a huge display, water feature, trees, the whole bit, like the old days back in York and all of that, which I thought was really cool. Yeah, so we'll have some good examples of all of that stuff.
Do we want to go ahead and give away the other set of tickets for the show?
Sure, let's do it.
All right, I'll throw it back up there again to collect from people. Let's see. So again, it's NELSTS. Well, hashtag that at least to enter into that for 2 free tickets to the show. And just to let everybody know, we actually have a couple more giveaways after that yet tonight too. Like I kind of feel like we're Oprah or something, Get Nico up there going, and you get a prize, and you get a. No.
That's not funny.
It's not funny. It made me laugh, and I can tell Ray's laughing on the inside. He just doesn't show it.
I'm laughing.
Ray's not feeling well tonight, so. We even thank Ray for being here with not feeling well.
Yeah. Thank you for still showing up, Ray.
Hey, a shout out to Taya. Taya, thanks. Thanks right back for all your help. And I look forward to seeing you at the show.
You know, I met Taya several years ago when I went down to the convention in Atlanta, and she's probably about one of the nicest people I've met.
What about
I always enjoy seeing her. Well,
what
Nico's
about
in
you?
there too, you know, but I see someone here. Looks like Jack Rockham said, I heard Shelburne Falls Trolley Museum and Connecticut Trolley Museum will be there.
Jack, they've been asked. I haven't had confirmation from either of them, but both of them will be open that weekend. So one way or the other, we'll have some affiliation with those folks. And I'll tell you, it is the perfect time to head up to Shelburne Falls, because they have what's called the Flower Bridge, and it's going to be in full bloom. It was the old trolley route over the river. I forget what river it is, but anyways, when that's in full bloom, it's like crazy beautiful. And I mean, worth a trip up there to see it. It's only about 20 miles north of the fairgrounds.
Wow.
And so is Yankee Candle, for that matter. So if you're into Yankee Candle, they've got 4 separate G-scale layouts running in each of their big display rooms, which is fun to watch. And you can buy candles.
Wow. That sounds like a win-win. I know my wife would like to look at candles, and I'd like to look at trays.
You know, I went up there to do some consulting for them, and my wife went shopping. I said, "You realize this is going to cost me for being here, right?" And she came out with a shopping cart, and I was just telling them what to do about some of the trains and kind of stuff. So, but it was worth the trip, because there's some really nice folks that are up there. So
There's another question. Will virtual rail fans stream the show?
you know, I'm talking to the guys. I'm talking to Mike, and they are seeing if they can make the trip. So we should have some word on that in the next week. They love doing the large scales. I mean, our large show though, and with the live stream in each building. But
I was going to say, depending on what the cell reception's like, Nico and I are going to try and do a live stream walkthrough of the show on the first day.
oh, cool, yeah. Honestly, if the Wi-Fi there is strong, and we'll only have the one building instead of the 4, so
okay.
it really holds. It really holds up with all 4 buildings. So it will. I'm sure it'll be fine for just the one. And the Wi-Fi there for us, we've negotiated it. It's free.
Oh, wow.
The other shows you have to pay, but not for us.
Let's see.
Zian said, I think that's how you pronounce his name, hopefully, they should sell G-Scale at Yankee Candle.
I have actually put that bug in their ear, and they are considering it. So interesting that you say that.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you've already got 4 layouts to draw people there. I mean, I'm sure you could probably sell some stuff too.
There you go, Ray. Get in there. Sell some trains.
I've been in there for about, how long? Probably 10 years I've been trying to get them in there. They do promise. I'm just trying to get the big stuff in there.
Yeah.
I definitely want them to have it.
Heard they sell G-Scale at the Valley Railroad. I don't know what that is.
Not sure, but
That's what I've
I see.
seen
No, that's Essex.
in Essex, yeah.
They might be selling some G scale there. Jack, is that what you're talking about at Valley, the Essex Steam and Riverboat folks? Because I know them fairly well, but I've been down there many times, dinner train and their Christmas show and all of that, but I don't remember seeing G scale. But you know, it's been a year and a half, 2 years since I've been, so they may have gotten smart.
You could always get Dackman.
Bachmann, who's that? I don't know that guy. Ray knows who he is. He interviewed him last year at East Coast.
Let me put it out there. You know, there's a little bit of space left. I'm pretty sure we'll fill it, but there's still some space. If people want to attend as an exhibitor, give me a call or an email, please.
Okay.
There's not much, but there is some space left.
And that's a big room too.
It's 55,000 square feet, and half of it is going to be layouts, but there's a ton of room.
Wow.
So let's just to recap this, we're discussing the Northeast Large Scale Train Show, and it's in Amherst, Massachusetts, correct?
West Springfield.
West Springfield, sorry.
No, that's right. Brought to you by Amherst. That's where you're getting the Amherst
Yeah.
from.
April 28th and 29th, just so everybody's on board. Somebody just asked, I just got here, what show is this?
I was wondering what show it was too, but no, I'm just kidding. What are we doing? Is this a live stream? What did I get?
So again, anybody that wants to enter the giveaway, hashtag NELSTS in the live chat.
Yep, we'll give that another couple minutes here, see if anybody else drops anything in there.
Anything else? Anyone else?
Anyone else? Anyone? I'm thinking of Ferris Bueller's Day Off now with Ben Stein.
Bueller.
Yeah. Anyone?
So Jack is asking if anyone sold a G-scale F40. The only one I know of is Great Trains, who made the F40 in 1/32 scale.
Yeah, and they did two versions of that. They did a short version and then like an actual like scale length one, if I remember correctly.
I've only seen the short ones.
Yeah, somebody actually showed me the scale length one the other week. They sent me a picture of it, and I'm like, wow, I never ever saw that before.
And superliners.
Yep.
Yeah, that's right. They did superliners.
And then what are the show hours again, just so everybody knows?
9 to 5, both days, Friday and Saturday.
Okay. So I got to get up early on Friday to set everything up.
No, actually, we'll be there all day Thursday for setup. So
I'm
you
not
guys can
getting in until like 10 o'clock at night on Thursday.
That's
So-
when
so-
we close
so-
Thursday night setup. So we
Just
close
as long
at
as you
10.
let me know what time I got to pick you up from the train station, Nico. I'm driving 8.5 hours just so Nico doesn't have to get an Uber.
I'll have you know I've had multiple offers to get carpooled around. So people like me. They really like me.
What do you do? What's there not to like?
Uh-huh.
All right. It looks
All right,
like
you want to do the drawing now?
Yep, it looks like we don't have anything else coming in now, so we'll go ahead and fire up the drawing here and see who's going to win. And again, this is for 2 tickets, no dinner with Nico, to the Northeast Large Scale Train Show. So,
Well, unless you want to join the banquet, and then you have dinner with Nico.
there you go.
Yeah.
And John and Ray and Andrew and 40 other people that Don invited.
There's a banquet.
Hey, Joseph Lipinski says he likes you because you're giving him a -9, Nico.
I didn't say in what scale.
All right, let's see who's going to win 2 tickets.
I think my son has a couple N scale that are broken I can give him.
Yeah, I miss the days when you were in the drawings, Nico, and I got to watch you get robbed. All right, it looks like Alex Cox is the winner of 2 tickets to the show. Alex, if again, as I said on the last one, if you want to just send me an email to info@largescaletrains.com, just your first, last name, your address, so that they can match it up at the door when you show up and say, hey, I won 2 free tickets. So congratulations, Alex. I look forward to seeing you there.
Yes, come by the booth, say hello.
Yeah.
Get a picture with you with your tickets.
There you go.
All right. Thank you again very much, John, for giving away those tickets. We know you didn't have to.
My
But
pleasure. Seriously, and it's always fun to come on. So thanks a lot.
yeah.
So,
So
should we shift gears and
Yeah.
move on to Ray over there?
yeah, before Ray falls asleep, he's looking,
Too late.
All right. So what do you have to say, Ray?
About what?
You know, I'd like to say anything because I feel the conversation could get very interesting.
Well, you gotta pardon my voice. I'm on my 4th day of Paxlovid, so it's getting better. Anyway, this show is going to be great. We all have to work to make sure it's a success. We have to get people there. We have to continue to support the East Coast show down in Annapolis, and we really need these big shows to succeed in order to keep the hobby going, particularly our end of it, the large scale end.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%.
So no excuses. If you're up there anywhere near West Springfield, be there. You've got to be there.
I'll be there, and I'm nowhere near West Springfield.
That's your fault. You moved down south.
Yeah, what's up with that?
I don't know. You used to live in Jersey.
I had when I shared the info for this live stream earlier in the week, I had one person reshare it, and I'm glad they messaged me and asked. They actually thought the show was this weekend, and they messaged me and said, "Hey, I went to their website and I don't see anything on the calendar for this weekend. When is it?" And I'm like, "No, this is the live stream this weekend." So, there's people, they're ready to go now and get to the show.
I'm ready to go now.
Absolutely.
Oh, man, John, run it for a month.
Yeah, there you go.
We'll all stay at your house.
A few extra bedrooms. We can pull some of that off.
Yeah.
Russell Miller said, "Thank you to Bachmann for supporting the National Garden Railway Convention."
Yep, we'll be there as well.
So, what does Bachmann have going on in large scale?
Well, obviously, behind each of you, there is a -9, which came in. They've been in less than a month, and they're selling so well. People who want to get one should not wait because they are really, really going well. I understand the UP flag ones are gone.
Yeah, they're sold out completely, right?
Oh, wow. Those are gone already. Wow.
And they've only been ashore, what, 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks tops.
Yeah.
So this was a home run. What happened was Rich and I, Rich Janasek being the boss, we would be at the show in New York. The most requested item was the -9. So we went over to Cater to see if it was feasible. Now, a little backstory there. When Lewis was making his trains, they were made at a builder called Sandakan. And it's somewhere along the line, Cater Industrial, who owns Bachmann, bought Sandakan. Consequently, the tooling went to Cater. And then as Lewis was closing his doors, part of their settlement and what have you, who owes who what, Cater acquired the tooling. And so since Cater is our parent company, we were able to use it. And the first thing we did was the 4-wheel power truck and egg liners.
Yep.
And we had them look for the tooling of the -9. Turned out they couldn't find all of it. So they said, well, what do we do? So we decided, well, we'll do the GP40. That's how I got Nico's GP40. And as they put together all the tools for the GP40, lo and behold, there was a missing tool for the -9. So we did the -9 first, and we're in the midst of doing the GP40. Also, we've got the Evans cars, and we have the Hopper cars.
100.
Now, I had some here. I was supposed to have somebody here I was going to set up so I could flash them all. But then I got COVID, so nobody's allowed in here. So I do have my friend Fred here. This is the, well, I just stalled. What happened? Did the LED mess it up? Anyhow, this comes on the Evans cars, and there will be Evans cars available without it. and we'll have the roller bearing trucks available as well. But everybody's got an Evans car, so you know what it looks like. The only difference is the decoration. Similarly, the hoppers are great. We have great new road names, but they look the same. We didn't change any tooling. Aristo-craft gets the credit for all of the great detail. Also on the locomotives, the Dash 9 is beautiful. We don't get credit for that. Lewis gets credit for that. God bless Lewis Polt. He's a great man. So in any event, they're out, and Nico has one that he's taken apart. Andrew has one.
I got two.
Got me beat.
Somebody's compensating.
Well, maybe not. But anyway, Don Sweet and Stan Ames have them. So if there are any questions about them, it's what we have brought to the table is the interface. Almost anything plugs right in without any wiring. Certain versions of Revolution require some hard wiring, but you can put in DCC, you can run it on track power. I have Rail Pro in mine, and I love the Rail Pro. Don Sweet puts that in for me. But Stan and Don worked hard on the board as we modified it. Now, some people are saying, well, it's different from the Aristo board. How long ago did Aristo have these out? 15 years, maybe? More?
Well, and, the thing is, is the research I did, Ray, was it sounds like the way you guys made that socket is how it was originally intended to be made.
Well, that's what we tried to do.
Yeah.
I remember a conversation we had at York among Joe Freeman, who was the Bachmann vice president, Lewis. I was sort of privy to it, a couple of big dealers, and they came up with a couple of ideas, one of which was a non-proprietary socket in order to advance the hobby. But since that original socket was designed, all the electronics have evolved so much. Now Soundtracks has the Blue NAMI, which you can control with your cell phone. And that's a great thing. As I say, I love the Rail Pro interface, but many people still have Revolution. I still have things running out back that have rail links, and you can't get that anymore. And
We
there's
have,
still out there Loco Link, and I'm leaving out an important one, and I can't think of who it is. Guy down in Florida, I think.
Now you got me thinking.
All right. Well, it'll come to me about two.
About Airwire?
Airwire. That's it.
Yeah.
Hey, now I don't have to call Andrew at 2 a.m. when I remember.
I'll always answer for you, Ray.
Thanks.
So we have a couple of questions here. So
Okay.
speaking of the Revolution, I know Jay Kim, who is Revo, is working on an adapter board to make it work. So
Good.
he's
Good.
already got pricing on his website. I haven't seen anything yet, so hopefully that comes out soon.
We all have to work together to make everybody's stuff work with everybody else's.
Somebody else asked about the Rail Pro, and you guys provide a wiring adapter board. And because Rail Pro doesn't plug in, Rail Pro is its own module. It's like a square box. I don't have one here, but and then you hardwire it into. Yes, there's the
So
board.
this is, and kudos to you guys for including this, Ray.
Yes,
This plugs right into the socket, and obviously there's a wire that comes off for each and every pin that's in there. And let's see, might not be able to see it or not, but it's actually all labeled right on there what it goes to. But the other thing I really like is in this nice full manual that you give us for it, you also give a very detailed layout of all the pins and what they go to. So I was very, very impressed with that being included, Ray. So
the idea is to make it usable for everybody. Now, I'm not a wiring guy, so now I see Dominic has a question. You can direct any question like that to Don Sweet at New England RCS, and he knows how to do it, and he'll be happy to tell you. And if you're like me, he'll be happy to do it for you, because I'm not a wiring guy.
Yeah, some people like it, some don't. I tend to enjoy it myself.
So Larry Otis would like to see E8s again.
Well, Larry, so would I, but I got my 2 New York Central ones from Split Jaw, so I'm happy. But no, only kidding. The problem is, when we did this, it had to, like the new show, the first shot out of the barrel has to be a success. We've got to make this show a success. We had to have a successful introduction of these large-scale items. Now, think about it. Are you going to sell more Dash 9s or more E8s? By far, we'll sell more Dash 9s. I'd love to see the E8s come back. Nothing's impossible. But the next thing is going to be the GP40, and then we'll see where things evolve from there.
So do you have a ETA on the GP40?
In the back of my head, I hope so, but nothing I'm going to say.
So production hasn't been started or anything like that, correct?
I'm not sure where they are.
Okay. And then the other question was the 3-axle motor blocks.
Those are going to be available very soon.
Okay, so those are getting ready to be shipped. Are you going to stock like parts for the Dash 9?
Yes, we are.
So I have the Bachmann catalog from the website here, Ray. And I thought I had something in there about the GP40s.
There it is, right there.
You're right there.
Whoa.
You're going the wrong way.
Yeah, I'd say I did. I clicked something there. I get excited when I look at trains. I can't help it.
Yeah, I understand.
There's the GP40 right there.
Yeah. But you know what I may have seen as far as when that was coming, it might have been one of the Bachmann social media presences, if it was Facebook or Instagram or one of them. I think they made some mention like summer next year or something like that. I can't remember.
Everybody hopes.
But it's all nothing is definite, because look how screwed up supply and demand got over the past 2 years for everything in general.
Anybody watch the news at all? Look what's going on in the world. Holy smokes! With all the saber rattling and all of the uncertainty around the world, anything can happen to throw a wrench in the works.
Yep.
But it looks like
GP40s. You can see these are probably HO models that we did, but the beauty shot is Nico's that I painted and lettered for Norfolk Southern.
Why did that?
That's that one. Hey, go back to mine.
Go back to Nico's. He feels
right there.
Very interested. No, that could be it, but keep going down a little more.
Oh, was it down? All right, let's see here.
What was there a minute ago? Where did it go, Nico?
I don't know. It raised. Andrew's controlling everything.
You Indian giver.
You sure that's not yours right there, Nico?
Yeah, it could be, but go down a little more. There was a picture of one.
I think it was up. Go up.
Huh?
Yeah, up a little. Well, I don't know.
Nope.
Of course, that's the Dash 9.
It was there for a fleeting. There, right there.
That's the Dash 9.
Dash 9 in my backyard. Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, there it is. So the GP40 will look the same, and we'll have the new socket, and we're refining the socket even more based on feedback that we got about this socket. Yeah. So it will only improve, and so many things are in flux in terms of the technology available to us to control the trains. So it's just a matter of trying to keep up, and we'll always try to improve it. We call things like that running changes. And we've been known for that. If you look at the first big hauler 10-wheeler that Lee Riley introduced in about 1989, that's when I got involved with Bachmann. And it was battery operated, all plastic wheels, plastic track. But if you take one of those and look, you can see it's designed for the latest generation that we have right now, with all the great valve gear and everything. A lot of those mounting points were in the very first one, which was 30 years ago. So we are known for running changes and improving things all along.
Now, something I wanted to show. This
Okay.
is, of course, the main board out of it.
Right.
I should have put a link in the description. I didn't think about it, but if you go to my channel, I actually did an unboxing on this and pulled this out. But I know this camera's not going to be the best, but the other thing I like is all these tabs along here and here. You guys actually put solder tabs that also connect to all those pins. So if you have stuff that doesn't use all the pins, like in the case of the Revo, you can actually still install your Revo in the socket and then use the solder pins to jumper over the other functions that you need to add on there.
When I do installs on a couple of the like the K27 and C19s, I've used those to help make the Revo work for people that want a Revo. So we got another question here. Aristo had a wide range of 129 steamers. It would be great for Bachmann to revive the Mikado or consolidation. Although
I agree.
The Malay would be popular like the Dash 9.
Well, also don't forget now we've done 2 years in the 1 to 29. We can't turn our back on our 1 to 20.3 guys.
Yeah,
and we owe them a narrow gauge locomotive.
I was going to say, what are these steamers here? Are those one?
Those
Yeah, those are 120.3. Is that the one that there was a write-up in GR News about just recently, Ray?
No, that was the new Annie.
That was the new Annie. Okay.
No, these are the first 2 locomotives of this outline we did were the American and notably the Eureka and a 260. And these were Centennial engines that were run in real life at the 1876 World's Fair in Philadelphia. And so they are really excellent museum quality models. The 440 has an inside Stevenson valve gear. And then these 260s we did, you can see Ward Kimball's Emma, Nevada down there on the bottom. I was at Orange Empire Museum, which has a new name, but I was there at least 3 times measuring and photographing and crawling all over it. And these are really, really beautiful models. And we have a couple of passenger cars to go with each one. The Eureka is a nice one. It matches the Eureka 440. If you look at the History Channel, anytime there's a 440, it's the Eureka. That's an engine that was restored by an attorney in Las Vegas called Dan Markoff, and he's building a coach to go with it. And the Eureka and Palisade Railroad had a 260, so we did that one. So those are all accurate.
I was just looking at the info here. So this has the same socket in it that the Dash 9 has. Then
we have the socket and everything.
Wonderful.
Yeah, I would. That's something I like that aristo-craft and Bachmann started doing with that plug and play socket. It really, makes it easy for people to do installs.
That's the hope.
Yeah.
Now, this engine here is the one we were talking about that there was the article in GR News, then, correct?
Yeah.
And I remember reading through that, and I was very impressed with the upgrades that you've done to that over the years. And I like the fact that you guys actually added ball bearings into it for the axles now.
Well, this is the 10-wheeler about which I spoke earlier, but this is the latest iteration. And it's got a completely retooled tender because the original one had sort of grossly oversized rivets and so forth. This one has trucks like on the C19, so it picks up through the axle, no wipers. And it has the socket. And when you look at this locomotive running on the railroad, you don't say, well, that's a pretty good looking big hole. Or you say, whoa, that's a really nice locomotive. It's just beautiful. And the full metal valve gear and the whole deal, it just is a really, really nice locomotive.
Yeah, you guys have definitely turned it into a very nice model. Now, I saw a question earlier, but I don't think this really 100% answers it. I see you're doing an unlettered, basically kind of undecorated in the steam locomotive, but I think the question the person was asking was like in the diesels and stuff, if you were going to do undecorated runs of those.
Pretty much no, for this reason. If you have an unlettered steam engine, what color is it likely to be? Black.
Yeah.
If you're going to do an unlettered diesel, what color should it be?
Black.
Well, that's good for the Norfolk Southern guys.
Yeah.
How about the Santa Fe guys or the
Primer
US
gray.
Yeah, and people don't want to do that. They don't want to paint. We had an SD45 in HO, and you can bet there are 20 times more locomotive painters doing HO locomotives than there are large scale. And the one that was just in gray plastic, it didn't sell at all. And I have in the workroom, I have an RS3 from Aristo that's in gray plastic, and it's taken me a long time to get off the dime and take that apart. I want to paint it in Lehigh, New England colors. And I think what's daunting me is the stripes across the radiator shutters. But it's
You got to take them all apart.
yeah, I know.
Yeah.
And that's why it's in gray plastic.
I've done a couple of them. I've done a Long Island. I've done a Susquehanna for somebody.
Yes.
It takes a lot of time to take everything apart and mask it, especially when it's like a swoop going across. It's not a straight line.
Yeah, well, Lehigh and New England, I think it was 3 straight stripes. But there's a lot of room for bleeding in there. So anyway, my point is no, we're not going to do an unlettered diesel because there's no one size fits all.
Yeah, I understand that.
We also had a comment about the GP40 motors. I guess originally aristo-craft had an issue with the motors that they put in.
Was it really the motors or was it the wiring issue?
No, it was the motors.
Because there was also a wiring issue with them rubbing on the metal weight and shorting out.
Right. That's a separate issue. But so.
Well, those are things that if people will put them in an email and let me know, we'll make sure it doesn't happen again.
I'll put it in an email and let you know.
All right. Thank you very much. That's the kind of stuff we need to do.
Absolutely.
You know? And the one we got from you is a paint sale. No one's running it.
Yeah.
In fact, I think when it was all apart and to get it back together, I got it from you on a Tuesday, I think, and I had to have it to Philly by Friday. So all of those electronics are in a box. I cut everything off to put the thing back together. So
that was going to be a CSX engine, but yeah.
It looks better as NS, I think.
Yes, it's much better.
And somebody was asking.
What's that?
Said somebody was asking about the SD45, if there's any plans for that.
Anything is possible. We have the same Aristo-craft catalogs you have. You know, everything depends on interest, people talking to us at shows, people saying, yeah, you know, let's do this. That's how the -9 got started. And then if we get enough interest and talk to the folks across the water, then they have to see if they can find all the tools.
Yeah.
So, you know, we have hopes to do certain things, but until there's a great demand and we make an announcement, we don't make announcements ahead of time.
And I do have to say thank you to you, Ray, because you elaborated and explained something earlier. Because I see the question all the time of who owns what or who bought what, and you explained it all perfectly with the manufacturing and the molds. So now I can just refer people to that timestamp of my video and say, here you go.
Okay, and that's my understanding of it. I'm sure that there are people will say, oh no, you know, Sandakan on the way over to get lunch sold it to somebody else, and I don't know. That's my understanding.
You should see some of the stuff people post. It's like, where are you getting this from?
Yeah, they come up with some interesting information.
Well, I just made all that up. No.
Somebody said that I still think Polk was going to do a C30-7 before they closed. I don't remember that ever
I
being.
never heard that one.
I don't remember.
I heard SD9 at one time, but not that.
What did you hear?
I had heard an SD9 at one time they were talking about.
I
That's
heard
what Vinny,
that.
Vinny
and
just
an
said that.
I heard an SW1.
That they had drawings for.
Yep, and a GG1.
The GG1, yeah, they had that. They had that all measured out. They had drawings for the SW1 at one of the York shows.
Yeah.
The print.
I wish they'd done that.
They had the ore cars, which
Right.
they started doing.
Yeah, I think I've got a sample pictures of that somewhere, but those were never made, were they?
Not so far as I know.
Yeah, I've never seen any show up at least. But thinking about things that are made, I see you guys are doing the 100-ton hoppers that are in the catalog here, Ray.
Yeah, they're very nice. And my favorite one is that Pensy one with Ready Kilowatt on it.
Yeah, I am a fan of that.
I just
and
bought the whole
Teach
set
fifth graders that.
of the black ones from the show, from the East Coast show.
Uh-huh.
I just got the three of them this weekend: 102, 105, and 107.
Nice.
And it looks like in the catalog they're saying arriving in 2023. Does that still sound?
Oh, yeah, we're expecting those. The Evans cars, I believe, are here.
Yep.
And we are anticipating delivery of the hoppers very soon. We should hopefully be running them out in the garden this summer.
Sweet.
Now all I got to do
Back
is
up to the Evans cars. We have a great Tropicana car in there now too.
You have a Tropicana car.
I got a product idea for you.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
The little caps on the Evans cars, we always lose those. You need to make
you need a roller bearing cap?
you need to make a little bag of 8 of those.
I'll tell them.
Yeah. I think I have at least 3 of those missing across different cars.
Yeah.
Well, our 1 to 20 cars often lose the journal box cover.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen 2 comments I really liked tonight. Dave Taylor's one, and Andrew Burian, I think, was the other. They both mentioned more Conrail. I couldn't agree more. We need more Conrail, Ray.
Okay, I'll let them know.
Is that like more cowbell?
Yeah, something like that.
And I think Kyle's trying to say road railer trailers.
Oh yeah, rail riders, road railers. Yeah, they're kind of cool. I like those. I've got a dozen or so, I guess.
Oh,
Yeah, that's an interesting. I also think Aristo-craft was going to do a intermodal car. I don't think that ever got off the ground, but.
Or were they going to do the like the Gunderson or something like that? I think.
Yeah.
Something that's actually popping up here I want to bring up, Ray.
Here you go. I second the bearing covers. Could use about 15. Yeah, me too.
bearing covers, and there's also been a couple people that have mentioned about the actual ball bearings for the roller bearing trucks.
Oh, somebody asked if if you'll ever put actual ball bearings in there instead of the bushings.
I know when Aristo at one point was actually selling tubes of the bearings for those. I don't know if you guys had any intentions of that or not, Ray.
I don't know.
But it's definitely a nice option to swap out the sleeve bearings for the ball bearings.
Did Aristo do it or not?
Yeah, they did. Of course, I don't have it in front of me at the second, but I just came across the instruction sheets that they sent with the ball bearings on how to change them out at the time.
Could you scan that and send it to me?
Absolutely. I'll make a note right now to send that to you.
Thank you.
Let me do that now before I forget.
I have a fever, and the only prescription is more Conrail.
Oh, man. I'm liking it.
Otherwise, you turn blue.
Yeah.
And we got 2 people asking for Jersey Central.
Oh, they're wanting, are they talking heritage scheme?
Yeah. Well, the heritage thing's another topic.
Oh, that kind of falls into the category, I think, close to the undecorated stuff as well. Is
Well, it's
you
not.
you have to have enough people that want them.
It's not 100% the right engines either.
No, and there's people out there that are picky about whether it's completely correct or not. There's a lot of people that don't care, but it's pretty well split up. So I completely get that. You got to make what people are going to buy the most of, so to speak.
Yeah, we have to be able to sell through pretty much. It's not like HO where you can keep smaller railroads on the shelf and sell them out over the next couple of years.
Yeah, it takes up a lot of space.
Yeah, I mean,
So does anybody have any questions about the -9? Anything on the -9?
did we want to show any close-up stuff of the -9, Nico?
I got close-up stuffs. I also have one of the motor blocks. I know Paul Torrey has taken. No, I'm in the bottom little corner there, but.
Oh, hang on. We'll get you back up there.
So I have a motor block taken apart. If anybody has any questions about that, I could show gears. We have the -9 here. If anybody wants to see close up about anything. So I don't know if you want me to go over to gears here. So I taken this is run right out of my -9. So my -9 is apart already. Yes.
No warranty for Nico. I'm just throwing it out there.
I have my own warranty, so I'm okay. I'm okay on that part. So apparently, this is actually a Aristo gear. So it looks like the gears are identical inside, and here is the original Aristo gearbox. So they've changed the color on the outside of the box from the.
Greg said to hold it closer, Nico.
So that's the two. I'm going the wrong way. There we go. So that's the Aristo over here, and this is the new Bachmann. And then if you want to see the inside of the gears, still the same worm gear, same design on the inside. So a lot of people were always asking about that, if anything had changed. And then again, this is the Aristo gear. That's a brand new one. Still looks identical. Everything still screws in the same, so I don't see any changes there. The tabs are not soldered in anymore, which is a good thing.
Yeah, that's what I was worrying about, because that can make it a real pain in the rear end to take them apart.
Yep. So as you can see, I could pull it right out here. I just pulled mine out of the motor block because I have this taken apart, and those vampire tabs were soldered on the aristo-craft, which made it tremendous fun to try and take apart and put back together. So that's all the same.
There's a question for you, Nico.
Yes, it does still have the little ball bearing. So I know a lot of people said they've had problems with those. I've never had an issue with any of mine where it cut into. So actually, let me show you the other half. So inside here, inside this hole, there's a tiny spring. And on top of that spring rides a small, very tiny, tiny, tiny ball bearing. See if I could show it to you. Oh, there it is. So this is in the bag so I don't lose it, because as soon as I opened it, it went flying. So I don't know. Let me see if I can get that. See that little tiny bearing?
Yep.
That's what's in there. And it is like a pea. If you can see the size of my finger compared to that. So that rides along to help with the pickup inside that journal. So you have a ball bearing in there, an actual ball bearing that it rides on, and then they have that secondary pickup bearing. So some people have issues where that cuts into this drive axle here. So I've never had an issue with it. I've taken quite a few of these apart. I mean, I've seen wear, but not like destruction like I've seen some people have. So I don't know if it gets hung up somehow. And
as I say, on all of mine, I haven't had any issues with them. Because if it starts cutting into it, that's where you'll notice the axles won't slide back and forth.
Correct. Yeah.
And
It won't.
All of my stuff, I can still, the axles slide back and forth nice and smooth. So
Yeah. So
I've
this is
had
an
two
old.
of the originals since they came out, and I've never had an issue.
yeah.
Yeah, like I said, I've seen people that have and haven't. So, and I've never, out of all the ones that I've taken apart, I've never seen that issue. So, again, I don't know. And I know some people that religiously, as soon as they get the engine, the first thing they do is take that ball bearing and spring out. And they say their engines run fine. If I had an issue with it, I would take mine out also, because you still do have a ball bearing in there that it's riding on inside this cover.
Yeah.
So that's not an issue. I don't know why aristo-craft. I mean, I guess they added it for pickup, so they got good connectivity for electrical pickup. But I mean, I could see it going either way of having it in there or taking it out.
So here's a question again for you, Nico. Why would you take it apart?
Me?
Yeah.
Because
He takes everything apart.
since I've been like 4 years old, all I've ever done is, when at Christmas everybody would get a toy and play with the toy. No, I would go get the screwdrivers and take it apart, see how it worked. But I was always able to put it back together, so my parents were never upset. So I want to see, I know there was questions. So the reason why I did take it apart, because I knew people had questions about the gears inside, and I wanted to answer those questions about, because I've seen chatter on the internet about, oh, they're brass gears or this gears, they changed the gears, they redesigned the motor block. It's exactly the same. So I just wanted to put any rumors to rest.
Yeah.
That's why I took it apart.
And of course, Crazy Train would like to see you do that with the transmission in your car.
I've never done a transmission, but I've done it with other things in my car. So yes. If anybody else has any other questions, I could show you. The wheels look identical, same design, same. They still have that same washer on the outside. I did not see any red lock on these when I took them apart.
Yeah, I know somebody that just took apart an old Aristo one that someone put red Loctite on and broke off half the screws, and that was even trying to heat up the axles.
Yeah, that's what I've always done with those. It does look like maybe there is a dot of something down there to hold the screw in. But yeah, the best way to take those screws out, and I think I showed that in the video when I was quartering the Pacific or the Mikado, of holding the soldering gun or using a heat gun, and then that softens the thread lock, and then you can take it right out. But yes, I've tried to muscle it. And I was trying to fix somebody's engine at a place where we were running, and I didn't have all the tools. I didn't have a soldering gun. I tried to, and of course I snapped the screw on them. So that was not fun.
Just like that, my train of thought went down the track.
Gearbox is bulletproof, properly treated. Yes, I mean they are.
I agree.
I've had a couple that have worn out aristo-craft, and what I usually find in those that have worn out, there's not enough grease. So the biggest thing is make sure there's grease in your gearbox.
I haven't seen the question come up here, which I'm actually kind of surprised, but are there going to be any separate parts available for the Dash 9s that you know of, Ray?
Yeah.
I just asked that like 10 minutes.
Did you? Well,
Sometimes Andrew goes to sleep.
Yeah, I do. But real quick here, I wanted to say the other thing I was very impressed with the Dash 9 was that you guys put, like, there's 4 pages both sides in here with a 4 or 3, maybe 3, with like the full breakdown on the parts, the part numbers. I mean, you guys really made it convenient to work on this yourself. I mean, you pretty much gave us all the information we need to be dangerous.
Now, here's something you should understand about parts. When we get a locomotive, say an 050, all right, we got an 050 coming in. We get a certain number, a certain percentage assembled and a small percentage unassembled. Those are the parts. Over the years, those parts go away. We don't order new parts. We can't get parts for that 050 until we run it again. So
Yeah.
now people will ask the Bachmann, or they will call up service and say, well, I have this GE engine and it's like 30 years old. Well, why don't you have parts? Well, we haven't had parts probably for 28 years. And why don't you make work? So we're not making that locomotive again. If
Yeah,
we make that locomotive again, we'll have parts. So the moral of the story here is if you need parts, get them now. If you want a -9, get it now. They're selling fast. And it's not a situation where we can say to Cater, okay, we need 300 handrail sets or something. They're not going to do it. They're not going to set up a line to make one part.
I had someone ask me the other day, you know, why you guys didn't just make all the Aristo replacement parts, and I didn't know for certain, but that was my thought, was those parts don't come along unless you're actually doing a run of that stuff.
Exactly.
And, you know, selling parts, I imagine, is not, you know, where the money's at most of the time. I mean, Bachmann is a business, so obviously they need to make money.
Well, in order to make all the Aristo parts, you'd have to make all the Aristo locomotives, which means you'd have to have an assembly line for each one. And it's not going to happen.
Over time, possibly, but
well, it's not going to happen with our locomotive. We don't set up assembly lines to make parts.
Are the parts in stock now, or they're not here yet?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
But the parts department's, online.
Yeah.
And there's a phone number. Give him a call. He'll tell you what he's got and what he expects.
I do.
Ask for Bruce.
Ask for Bruce?
Yeah. Don't tell him I told you that. This is a secret. No one tell Bruce I gave you his name.
Ray said.
Ray said. I see Victor Guess had dropped a question here, wanting to know if you guys were going to do the transmission tower kits that Aristo had done at one time. I know any of those I ever see, they're always all busted up after the wind blows them over, but
yeah, you got to make a base for them, and they have little screw holes in the base to lock them down.
But I don't know if you guys have had other requests for transmission towers or not, Ray.
That's pretty much the first besides mine. I'd like to see him. I had a set, and I made them into trestle bases, and I gave the tops to Don Sweet to put on his powerhouse. But anything's possible. But I don't know.
I said to Ray, the signal
a lot of requests, and then we'd have to be able to find the tooling.
And I like his brother Vernon replied back asking how many he needed because he has 100 of them. and Victor said, I need more.
Oh man, Victor, you're the man.
Some people have addictions to like certain things. They just
well, Vernon and Victor have a good thing going there. One owns the hobby shop and the other one, is the brother. So
yeah.
Which I have to wonder. I know when we had Vernon on, I'm wondering if Victor's on the email newsletter list yet or not for Reindeer Pass.
Did he get a discount?
So Joseph Lipinski said he already called parts, and they said not yet. And then he followed up by next month. He was told.
Oh, I was going to say, did he say? But Ray said.
Maybe he didn't say.
You behave.
Maybe he didn't call Bruce directly.
Did you want to show some close-ups of the -9 you got sitting there, Nico?
Sure, I can do that if people want to see that.
Yeah.
Vinny also said road railers. He's right here.
Hey, Vinny, how's it going?
He's not at work.
He's done with work today.
Is the show over?
No, we're still on. We're still live. Then.
I'm not used to him being around. Hey, Vinny. Hey, you need a haircut, man.
Then you get a haircut.
There we go. We got the camera going.
I'm getting seasick here. Which way are you going?
I'm trying. I'm working on it. I'm trying to get to the dash 9 here. Let me flip it over. I'm holding it. Okay. Let me close my other window.
20 minutes.
All right. So there you can see the front. I know people have seen this all over. I don't know if anybody wants to see anything in particular.
I know there was a question in the chat about if the ditch lights flashed on that. And
that depends on how you wire them.
yeah, from stock from the factory, no, there's not a circuit in there to make them flash.
Yeah, you would, if you like Rail Pro has the ability inside. You know, they have that in the programming that you could do. That's not part of the engine. That's the camera wire.
But I have to say, Ray, on these engines, the graphics are nice and crisp on them. They came out very, very nice.
Yeah, they did.
And I especially like the oh, you know what? That was the other question I saw in the chat. They were asking about the circuit board with the socket being on top. They wanted to know if there was enough room in there. And I can't find the pictures at the second, but Don Sweet had sent me pictures for the one he did Rail Pro in, and he actually had that adapter board and then the Rail Pro on top of it. He had them all stacked up, and there's, for what he did, there's plenty of room for that to fit back in there.
Yeah, you got quite a bit of height up in front there.
And the thing I really hadn't paid attention to until I just saw the light shining through there is where that board's sitting at. You've actually got screens on both sides, which should help, you know, if your board tends to get warm with getting airflow through there.
Yep.
So that actually works even better. Someone would like to see the top cover removed showing the switches.
Oh, give me a second. Help me, because I got a camera in my hands. I have my lovely assistant.
Don't be showing any bank statements or anything, Vincent. I don't want to have to go through and edit the video when we're done.
No. So you got lights on and off, smoke on and off, motor on and off, battery track switch, and really the only difference from the aristo-craft is you added the NMRA large scale switch.
Right.
Let's see.
Sorry.
Paul Torrey was asking, is there a C44-9 label on the sill? I know on my cab it's got D9-40CW on the side of it, if that's what he means.
On the locomotive sill, some companies also put it there.
Okay.
Sorry about my shaky hands.
That's all right. We'll make fun of you later.
You can make fun of me now. I really don't care. And of course, the speakers in there, below the grill.
And Mike Vilma, to answer your question, actually, I'll drop that down so you can see me. Yeah, there's an adapter board that comes with these that has all the wires on it, so that rather than having to gut stuff out to wire it up to your control of choice, you can drop that in there and you've got all the wires you need to wire all the functions.
So that won't work. Well, that will only partially work with the Dash 9. That's what he's asking. If it will work with the old Dash 9.
Is it possible to get the... Oh, I see what he's asking. Well,
if you actually read what he's asking.
Yeah. You know, if I actually read things.
Yes.
So from what I could tell, looking at the pinout from when Aristo did it and these ones, all the functions that are on the header that Aristo used are the same ones that Bachmann has on that side. So the one side just would not be used. I see what he's saying now.
Yes. So yes, it should work. It's just the back functions. There's no. But on the Aristo board, there's no back functions anyway, so really.
And to RMA 1958, yeah, the electronic board is different.
Yes, it's completely redesigned.
Because if I remember correctly, on Aristos,
It was underneath.
the
Yep,
board was upside down in there.
correct. Yeah, you remove those screws, lifted it up, and then you plugged in underneath. Well, you have the circuit board right there in your hand.
Well, it's set back in the engine.
Oh, you put it back in.
It's not screwed in. The one thing I will say, Ray, is the top cover on these things is definitely snug. It's not going to fall off of there.
It's not. I still wouldn't pick up the locomotive using it.
Well, yeah, no, I wouldn't do that either.
And I'm sure it will loosen up as you remove
Oh,
it.
yeah.
But
So I don't have an Aristo board here, but the Aristo ones, if I remember correctly, Nico, like it ended at the end of this, right?
Yep, and then it was underneath.
And on the bottom, this socket that you see here was actually right here on the underside, upside down.
Correct.
So yeah, it is different. And if you remember in the Aristo, you basically just had a real simple dummy plug that went into one of the sockets. You guys actually have something a little bit more complex going on there. And of course, this button that's in here is that's for my Revo that I'm working on. But it was nice that you guys actually already had a hole pre-made in there, so I didn't have to drill a hole and damage something.
That was on the. Wasn't that on the original also?
I never owned an Aristo one, so I couldn't tell you.
I believe so. I believe they had it on a -9, but not the GP40. They started incorporating it on the -9, but
So as we're moving along here, should we mention our other giveaway we're going to do, Nico?
whenever you're ready. Whenever you're ready, Ray.
Well, you want us to go ahead and mention it, Ray?
sure.
Okay. Do you have an image that you want to share, Nico?
I'm getting there.
Hey, this is fun. Now I'm waiting on Nico instead of him
There you
waiting on
go.
me.
What do you mean waiting? It's right there. Bam.
Yeah, but you made it all small. There we go. Can you zoom in on that, son?
I can, but it gets blurry.
All right. So,
I don't know if you want me to zoom in or not.
yep, that's good. All right. So that is a Bachmann starter set. And what particular one is that, Nico?
The cow catcher.
The cow catcher? Is that the actual name of it?
Yeah,
Yes.
it is. Notice it's got the bobblehead car in there. Those people love those.
Oh, yeah, the cars that has the cattle or the horses, whatever, that their heads bob in and out.
The reindeer.
Bachmann 940 cow catcher starter set with lights and sound.
Very nice. So
this is quite a nice giveaway here. This is not an inexpensive set.
yeah, I have to say thank you very much to you, Ray, and to Bachmann for offering this as a giveaway for our show tonight. I really, really appreciate it.
And the winner will pick this up at the show.
That's the other stipulation. You have to pick it up at the Northeast Large Scale Train Show.
Yeah. So it's not a shipping item.
Not getting shipped, don't enter.
So don't enter if you're not going to pick it up. Otherwise, I get a new train set.
I thought it was for my grandson.
Yeah, I think Ray's supposed to win this giveaway, right?
Yeah, but is my name in? Well, let's see if you guys get it right.
Can we get it? So somebody's asking if we could get it at the ECL, East Coast Large Scale Train Show. No,
won't be there.
it will not be there. It will only be at the Northeast Large Scale Train Show. Sorry, everybody.
So let's.
Yes,
see.
that's the giveaway. The giveaway Crazy Train is the train set.
Now, Crazy Train, you're free to do whatever you like with it when you get it, but I really hope you don't blow it up. I know you like blowing things up from time to time. Let's see here. So give me a moment here, everybody, and I'll get the hashtag stuff for the giveaway up here. And if I let's see here.
So we got actually a couple questions on the -9 here.
Yep, go right ahead while I'm doing this.
Okay, while you're doing that. So Mike is asking, and the Revo speaker wire no longer fits like it did with aristo-craft, nor can you use the Revo plug that used to be able to connect right into the aristo-craft smoke unit. So I guess there's some other wiring changes.
Yeah, and I was looking at that on mine. I haven't gotten that far, but you can't plug it in. But that's also where those solder tabs are going to come into
Okay,
play.
so you could jump her onto the solder tab instead
Yeah.
of doing plug and
Yeah,
play.
the speaker actually runs through that other pin header that Aristo never used.
Right.
And you could actually nip the plug off the end of the Revo speaker wire and solder it in there.
So are you going to do an install video?
I am. I was actually going to start working on that yesterday when I got back from shopping with the wife, and then my power went out until 4:30 this morning when the power company called and let me know it was back on. Yeah, I had all kinds of plans for yesterday, but you know, what are you going to do? So for the giveaway, let's see where to go.
So Mikey asked, did they fix the issue Aristocraft had? If you had multiple engines off one battery car, it would fry the main board if you didn't run a jumper wire from one MU cable to the other on the inside. So I don't know, is that something that they looked at, Ray?
I've got no idea. You'd have to refer that to Stan or Don Sweet.
I can tell you from looking inside of mine a little bit, it looks like it's still similar to how Aristo did it. And I never had any problems with anything frying.
Yeah, I have two -9s. I only have the battery in one.
Yeah.
They plug together, and I've never had an issue.
What happens if you have like 3 of them or 4 of them is I think it'll trip those poly fuses that are in there because it's actually drawing the voltage through. But I was looking because one of the other things you guys included in the box was you actually include one of the MU cables to go between them. And where is it at?
Does the hashtag Bachmann have to be all capital?
No, it just has to be hashtag Bachmann. Yep,
Okay.
sorry, that's up there. If people didn't catch it, please go ahead and start.
Yeah, enter the
dropping that in there.
Get your free train set, your giveaway.
But I believe in the manual, I'm not finding it at the second here. It does say the MU plugs included for if you want to run 2 -9s together.
So Greg USA said you could draw too much current in certain situation. Aristo did not do the poly switches correctly on certain production runs. Yes, I've seen that also.
Yeah. And that's usually what if they're done correctly, yeah, the poly fuses will trip.
Yeah.
But on my Aristo GP40s, I actually soldered the 2 jumper wires that just go from end to end where the plugs are at, so it bypasses it.
How many engines was Vinny running at Robbie's? 4? Yeah, he was running 4 and with 1 battery in the trailing, and we didn't have any issue with that either.
Well, there you go.
And those are the Aristocraft.
I think it just had, like you said, it has a lot to do with there were some of those that didn't get wired right, I think, at the time.
Yeah. Or a stray wire sometimes can ground out. You never know.
All kinds of people hopping in
for
there.
the train set. Is Bachmann 1 N or 2 N's? 2 N's.
2 N's.
BACHMANN. Can I enter?
Can you enter? I don't know. That's up to Ray. I would say no. That's not fair to the fans.
Oh, well, I'm going to be at the show, so.
Wow, we got quite a few people jumping in there for that giveaway. Then we're getting here. Looks like we got about 5 minutes left in our show here tonight.
Yeah, Greg said they used only 3 amp fuses. Sometimes they did not protect the motherboard properly, not wired right at the factory. So, yeah, I've seen all different things.
I did want to mention to everybody is we're getting close to winding down here. We won't have a regular live stream like this the end of next month because, well, the last Sunday of the month, neither one of us are going to be sitting at home. We're going to be at the show. So our next show after this is going to be
May.
Yeah, not the end of May actually though.
Because the end of May is Memorial Day weekend. We didn't want to take away from.
Yeah. I'm just looking here.
Brian Brunn asks, on the Bachmann version, does the track battery switch actually disconnect the track? I've never had an issue with the -9s with that not working. I know on the,
I haven't checked anything on this. I know on my 40s and my SD45s from Aristo that when you flip it, it disconnects the track pickup. I believe that's how these work as well, but I haven't checked.
Yeah, the only engine I've ever seen that didn't do that was I believe it was the Mikado, the first run of the Mikado, because they actually had the rear wheels pickup wired in with it. Like,
oh, you know what? Yeah, I did run into that. And I ended up at the time, just so I could run the engine, I clipped those wires off because I do remember that now. And what I was going to say before, now that I found it, May 21st will be our next show after this one. And we're actually going to have David Bergman from Splitjaw, or it's been gracious enough to sponsor our show, is actually going to be our guest on that show.
Yep, the Mikado was the one. That's what Greg said.
I don't know if you're seeing them there or not, Ray, but I see all kinds of well wishes from people saying they hope you feel better soon.
COVID is overrated. I mean, it's not fun. Otherwise, everybody'd want it. But
I did it, and I didn't even know I did it. So
yeah. Well, I know, but it's
I was worried how you were doing, and Nico said he didn't care just as long as you did the show.
Yeah.
Well, that's the kind of guy he is.
There's a thing I could say about Nico. The guy says what's on his mind. There's no wondering.
That's true. No filter.
Well, you're not going to get. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. So, do you want to pull the trigger on this? We got 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Everybody enter. Last call. What scale is the starter set? It's G scale or F, right? It's 1 to 20.
It's 1 to 22.5.
1 to 22.5 on G scale track.
Gauge 1 track.
Gauge 1.
Yeah, there's no such thing as G scale track.
Yeah. There's one thing you can say about G scale is it's the most convoluted, screwed up scale in the world.
I've heard 1 to 29 called A scale in honor of aristocrat.
Yeah, I've seen that before too, and I just can't bring myself to call it A scale. It just doesn't sound right to me.
It's A scale.
Well, this is true. It is A scale, yes.
And the 1 to 20 things are F's, actually FN3. F scale is 1 to 20.3.
And then there's the 7/8, right?
That same track, gauge 1 track. 7/8.
Yeah, but that scales it out to 2 foot narrow gauge.
2 foot narrow gauge. That's correct.
2 foot narrow gauge. Okay.
Like the main 2 footers.
G equals Gumby scale.
Gumby scale.
I think G came from LGB, Lehman's gross bond.
Yeah.
Lehman's big train. And then, LGB was the first one really popular in this country. Yeah, Markland had number 1 gauge, which is the track, 1 to 32nd, in the 1800s.
Yeah.
They were at the Nuremberg train show in the 1800s. So gauge 1, and then they did it very small. Half of that was gauge 0, which over here became O gauge or O scale. And you can get number 1, number 2, and number 3 gauge track.
Okay. So let's go ahead and I'm not seeing a bunch of tags coming in now. So let's go ahead and do our drawing and see who the lucky winner is going to be.
I need my beauty sleep.
You need your beauty sleep? If you got any more beautiful, Nico, I just don't know if I could take it.
Yeah. Got a John wish you well here. John, you still with us?
Oh yeah, I'm here, taking it all in. Thanks, Dominic.
And let's share.
Kyle thought you were sleeping.
I thought it meant Kyle was sleeping.
We'll point Kyle out to you at the show. This way you can.
Yeah, you can't miss Kyle.
Okay.
Let's see here.
You can do it. You can do it. Come on.
Yep. I'm gonna do it. All right. Looks like we got 34. Quit sleeping, Kyle. I see the Z's. All right. We had 34 people put in. Let's see who the lucky winner is going to be. And of course, as we said before, this is something you're going to have to pick up at the Northeast Large Scale Train Show. So let's see who it's going to be. And the winner is, say the name. I'm going to get it wrong, Nico.
Ian.
Ian. So again, congratulations. And if
See
you
you at
could,
the end of the month.
yeah, if you could, let's see here. Where's it at?
So
If
we
you
will
could,
have it at our booth
Yeah.
at the Northeast Large Scale Train Show in West Springfield, Massachusetts.
Yeah, if you
Come over
if
and
you,
shake hands, and we'll take a picture.
Yep.
if you could shoot me an email, info@largescaletrains, and just give us first, last name, and your address so that we can
Verify you are you.
verify you are you. Sometimes I'm not sure if I am me.
Yeah, well, that's a pretty common name, you know.
Sometimes I wish I wasn't me.
Well, at any rate, congratulations on winning the starter set. I'm sure you will get lots of enjoyment out of that. And with that said, was there any last things that we needed to mention? Anything else that you thought of while you were quietly sitting there, John?
No, I'm in good shape. Other than your wonderful sponsor, Splitjaw, they will be at the show. So
Yes.
yeah, and I look
we
forward to
haven't
seeing
mentioned
Dave again.
USA
But thank
Trains will be there.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
right.
Someone did ask that.
Yeah,
Yes,
USA Trains will be
Trains.
there.
Amatos. There's about 50 exhibitors that are going to be there. So
Bachmann's going to be there.
I'll have a list, this week I'll have a list published and where they're going to be located and everything. So
You could get your picture taken with Ray.
What could be better than that? I mean, really.
I think I would cherish that for the rest of my life.
Well,
I'm gonna put that on my list of things to do at the show. Get picture with Ray.
Okay,
Yes.
I'll remember that as long as I can.
yeah,
Oh,
What
well.
did I just say?
And away it goes.
Um,
All righty. So we're going to wrap this up.
yes, thank you, Ray. Thank you, John. We very much appreciate
thank you
both you
both.
guys being on.
it's good to see you guys.
Thank you for your generosity in donating to the show and to our fans, our viewers.
We will see you guys in about 4.5, 5 weeks.
Yep.
All right.
So we'll see you, I guess, 4 or 5 weeks. And then anybody else we'll see at the East Coast Large Scale Show, except for Andrew.
Yep. Maybe I can get a life-size cutout of myself to stand next to Nico, you know.
That would be fine. We'll do all sorts of fun stuff with that.
Yeah, maybe not. Well, all right. We're gonna
Have a great
call
night,
it
everyone.
an evening here. If you could, Ray and John, if you want to hang around for a couple minutes after
Sure.
we end here, I'd appreciate it. So
Yep.
have a good evening, everybody, and we'll
Thanks,
see you
everybody.
next time.
Wake up, Ray.